The flippity flip. Okay. Everything's mirrored. We got cameras all around. Looks like we're live. Okay, here we are. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Ask a Traffic Cop. This is the TikTok stream where we answer your traffic and police questions. It's what we do most weekdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. What you're seeing on that camera is the restream. I got two cameras going. I got TikTok going, and then I got a camera that's going to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and LinkedIn Live. So we're everywhere. And if you follow us on any one of the platforms, you can ask us questions. Doesn't matter if you're on TikTok or if you're on the other platforms. So good morning, everybody. Thanks for dropping in. It's always good to see you. It's always good to be seen. And Carrie, I see your good morning. Let's see, who else is in here? I don't usually get a chance to look into the chat, but I'm looking into the chat right now. Is it Alex? There's Alex. Or is it, no, it's Alex. Alex? I can't, okay. He says, hey, hey. Or they say, hey, hey. We got a Discord link from Q dropped into the business. So listen, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I answer your questions that you ask here on TikTok live for an hour a day when I'm at work. So this is a cool thing. If you are interested in asking us questions, drop it in the Q&A. And Angela Topping just popped in on YouTube with a good morning. Good morning to you, Angela. Always nice to see you. Let's see here. We got Jessica Walton with a good morning. Toronto 882 wants to know, how can I destroy a fingerprint? That's a good question. On paper, you probably just tear it up. But I don't know what you're asking me. How do you cover your tracks as a super sleuth, or as are you? I don't know where you're going with this. Either way, I'm not giving you advice. Okay. Or do you mean like records? Like you want to have your fingerprints taken off record because you had something going? I don't know. I don't know where this is going. Q gave me a hand gesture. That could also be left for interpretation. Good morning to everybody who's joining the room. Nice to see you. It's what is it? iStream Simpson? I don't know. iStream. I don't know. Trying to read all these names always sends me down a rabbit hole. I want to try, but it doesn't always work out. Let's see here. So that's. Let's see here. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We got Ashton Stein with the morning, everybody, and a heart. He threw a heart in there. Sean Chen on YouTube. We got. And Angela says, burn your fingerprints? Or don't burn your fingers. That sounds painful.
We have Constable Carrie in the chat room from Durham.
Durham Constable Carrie, good morning. How you doing? 168 people in the room. It is nice. We got our room growing. Do me a favor, everybody, if you don't mind, double tap that screen on TikTok. You don't have to do it on any other platform, but do it on TikTok. It tells TikTok that you're in the room and there's something to see. When you like the room, it brings more people in, and more is better. Can we see cop cars? We can, not when I'm live, not when I'm streaming, because I'm sitting at my desk with all this nice lighting and equipment, but I've done a video or two with some police cars, and we can do them. If you go into our channel, and if you're not already a follower, please follow us. But if you go into our channel, there's a couple of videos, and we should do more. I did a couple on motorcycles, did a couple on cars, did some with the military vehicles, but we'll do some more police car stuff. Will with a good morning. Good morning, Will. Let's see here. Kyr Logan. What happens if you don't have a G2? If you don't have a G2 and get a DUI? DUI is this great thing. It doesn't matter what license you have. I mean, there's additional charges if you're driving without a license. But if you're operating a motor vehicle, a conveyance, and you're charged with impaired operation, it's a criminal offense. You're arrested. It doesn't matter what your license is. That's the least of your worries. You're being arrested and taken and charged criminally, and it's going to be a bad day at the office for you. So don't do it. Can a G2 go on the highway? Yes, you can. You can go on any road in Ontario. You do have some conditions that you have to abide by, but aside from that, you're a provisional license. You basically have all the rights and privileges of a G, so long as you follow the rules. Okay. Are you going? Will wants to know if we're going on News Talk today. So yesterday we couldn't go on News Talk, so we tried to move it to today, and then they realized that it's a holiday today, and I'm wearing orange in honor of that. Now, I wanted to wear an orange shirt, and I found out I don't own one, so I'm wearing a pin that has orange. But because of that, they're not doing the show today, at least not live, and so I am not doing it today. Now, I'm off tomorrow, otherwise I would do it with them tomorrow. So what are we doing? We're going to do one next week, and then probably do one a following week as well to make up for it. So no News Talk today. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. What are the penalties for hitting a cyclist? Are you trying to decide if it's worth it? Don't hit a cyclist. It's a collision. It doesn't matter if it's a cyclist, a pedestrian, another car. If you hit someone or hurt someone, if you're at fault, you'll be charged for it. If you cause bodily harm or death, there's going to be increased issues. But just don't. It doesn't matter what the penalties are. You just don't do the thing. Okay. Why can't the police crush street racers' cars? It's not currently part of the law. Like, it would have to be written into law that we're allowed to seize, and they would forfeit rights to their property, and it would be crushed as linked to crime. Like, if it was a crime vehicle type thing where they were going to forfeit ownership because of the crime, then I could see it happening. It happens in Australia. It happens in other places where they crush the cars. I think it's awesome, but I don't see it coming here anytime soon. What do you do when someone hits your car but you can't prove it? Like, it was parked and someone damaged your car? That's what you have insurance for. It's unfortunate. It comes out of your end, not theirs, because you don't know who they are. If you have a dash cam, sometimes they monitor 24/7, and they would catch and be able to identify a vehicle that came into contact with yours, damaging it. But that's not so easy, especially if it's night. Was there a live yesterday? Because I never saw it. No, there wasn't, Will. I was on location learning about Ollie, a new vehicle that's being tested in the Rouge, is it Rouge River? Yeah, they're doing a TTC test. I did a post about it, and I put a link up for the Toronto.ca page that talks all about it. But we were learning all the safety procedures and what goes on with these autonomous vehicles that are going to be tested in the city of Toronto. Okay. What is the speed limit on a ramp? Well, they have a suggested speed limit for the ramp so that you don't slide off of it and get hurt. Okay. Oh, cue cards. I love it. They're cue cards. Q has cue cards. If you're watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitch, any of the other, you would see that we have a new background. We wanted to make it a little more explainer, really obvious. We wanted to make it really obvious what we were doing. So we have logos and stuff on the screen. It's pretty cool. I still have to drink. And Q threatened me. She said she's going to get a would you call it a write-on wipe-off board, a whiteboard, and you're going to use it as a cue card.
Well, I suggested that you get one for other display purposes.
Yes, diagrammy stuff.
Okay, here's a question from chat.
Okay.
My sister thinks that it's okay to ride in the HOV lane with only a pet. Please confirm she's wrong.
Yes, for your sister, your pet, although they might be your fur baby, is not a human, and as a result, you cannot use them as an acceptable passenger for the purposes of HOV. You can certainly try it, but you've been warned, when you get a ticket, that's not a defense. Fluffy don't count, sadly. Okay. No dash cam, though. I think this is a follow-up about somebody hit your car, and how do you follow up with that? Unfortunately, if you don't have a dash cam, you don't have any proof. If there's no camera footage of the damage that was, from where you were parked, if you can't find anything, you don't have any witnesses, you're kind of out of luck, and it's your insurance that would be covering you in that situation. What do you think about self-driving vehicles? I think it's really cool. I'm one of the crazy people who put $150 down on a Tesla Cybertruck, and I put that little checkbox on for autonomous mode when it comes out. I'd like one. I think it's cool. I'd like to be able to spend more time not driving for long commutes, especially in slow speed situations. Do I think the technology is coming? I think it's eventually going to be there for everybody. So I think it's cool. I think there's a long way to go, and I don't think it's ready for rollout, but I do think it's really cool. I'm excited for the future. I like technology. And let's see here. Patrick from YouTube says, does the province require a retest for drivers over 80? It scales up, and I haven't read this up in a long time because it's been a long time since my grandfather was around to need any kind of touch-up. But essentially, after 80, they do have some testing, whether it be written or driving, rules of the road, that sort of thing. Spooky Scooty says, hello from Twitch. What's going on? So yeah, there is other requirements after 80. So after 80, you can no longer renew online. You have to physically go in because there may be assessments that are thrown in, and the specifics for that you'd have to look up on their website. Let's see here. Angela says she's being good today. That's how, because she hasn't brought up tint or underglow. I can tell. And now
If I
I
get
did.
caught driving with only a permit, no license, how much trouble would I be in?
What kind of permit are we referring to? Like a learner's permit?
Verbatim. Said
Verbatim?
permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're driving with a permit, no license, permit to me, I'm going to interpret what you're saying as being a learner's permit. In Ontario, that would be a G1, which is still a driver's license. And the deal is that, well, it is a requirement that you have a supervising driver with you when you have a G1. If you're violating that, you're driving in violation of a condition, and you can be not only charged under the Highway Traffic Act for that violation. Upon conviction, you get a 30-day suspension. That's on your first time. Second time, 90-day. Third time, you get kicked out of the graduated licensing program, and then you start all over again. You lose all fees and all time that you've accrued. So if you were 11 months into your 12-month waiting to get your G2, you start back at zero. Your time gets reset to zero, and any monies you paid, again, zero. So that's part of it. The second part is you have no insurance. You're not covered. If you were to be in a collision and damage the vehicle, that vehicle is not covered. Well, wait, there is a possibility it would be covered. And that was, see, if someone let you drive their car, it's not covered because they knowingly let someone who's not licensed drive the car. And they would be eligible for a ticket under the Highway Traffic Act as well. Where it gets interesting, where it might be covered, is if you get charged criminally. See, if you stole the car or took it without permission, then they'd have a way of going and saying the car was stolen, and then it could be covered, but you wouldn't be, and you'd be charged criminally. So all the way around, it's a bad deal. For you, don't do it. Let's see here. If there's no demerit points, is it on your record? If there's no demerit points, is on your record. So if you get charged with something that doesn't carry demerit points, yes, there's still a conviction for the charge. Just as not only moving violations carry demerit points. The fact is, any ticket is bad for your insurance. Any ticket is bad for your record. But yeah. Demerits, by the way, if you get a demerit point added to your license, it stays on for 2 years from the date of offense, and your record actually stays on for 3 years from the date of conviction. Hey, Big Jeff Fresh, what's going on? Good morning from YouTube, or to YouTube, because you're on YouTube. Let's see here. Thoughts for the need of a front license plate. You need one. The law says you need one. Doesn't matter what I think about whether you need one or not. The chiefs of the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police met when the Ford government came in, because there was talk about only needing one, because it's half price. You only have to make one license plate. It's much cheaper to administer, to produce. So they were considering doing that, to getting rid of the front plate, and they didn't do that because public safety won out. Essentially, you have twice as many opportunities to see a vehicle and identify that vehicle if you have two license plates. So it made a lot of sense to keep it, and they did for that reason alone. And if you think about the fact that Amber Alerts, when we're trying to find kids, that have been taken, this is an important tool. We call them clues when we're looking for things. So why would we want to give up half of our information? Loading wants to know if I remember him and his burbles. Yes, I do remember you and your burble conversation. 626 Rhonda says in New Brunswick, we don't need a front plate. Yes, many provinces don't. Now we have Here for There says, is it true that I have till December 2022 to renew my G2? Not renew. You cannot renew a G2. G2 expires at the end of your 5-year period. Your learning period is 5 years. There's an extension. If your license expired March 2020 or later, you're good until December 31st, 2022. That's correct. But you can't renew it and keep driving with a G2. That's not part of the process. You'd have to retest again for a G2 to keep your G2, or you just take your G test and move on and get your G and forget about all this testing business. Let's see here. Can I drive an ex-police vehicle? At the moment, there's no law restricting that. There was some discussion about restricting their sale. I certainly can't drive it if it says police on it. It would have to be like a Crown Vic or a vehicle that, like an Expedition or any vehicle used by a police service, is just a civilian vehicle with stickers on it, right? There's nothing really making it except for push bars and lights and sirens and things that you can't have. So ex-police vehicle, regardless of who owned it before, right now you can still own it. How to deal with tailgating. Get out of their way. Generally speaking, they're being horrible drivers and breaking the rules, tailgating you because they're trying to get past you. It's probably safer just to get out of their way. Now, if they continue to tailgate you after you've moved out of the way, now we're into the aggressive driving that is something more concerning, and it may be escalating to something else. It may be something beyond tailgating. So maybe calling the police could be something that it could escalate to if you thought your safety was in danger. But slowing down gradually and safely after you've made that lane change, if they really want to get past you, they're going to get past you. If they're asleep at the wheel, that's a different situation. I want a project car. Do you think a Crown Vic is good? Crown Vic's a great car. I love driving one. I've never owned one, but I've driven one as a police officer, and I thought they were great vehicles. Not everybody agrees with me. They're a big car, but I thought they were very comfortable, and I enjoyed it. Did anything happen last weekend? You want to give me a hint as to what you're talking about, or you really want to know what happened? Like I went for breakfast on a patio. That's something that happened on the weekend. We arrested a bunch of people, 16 of them, I believe. Let me know what you're talking about. Let's see here. Oh, Neon says boop his nose. Neon wants you to double tap that screen and show that you like what's going on in the thread or in the stream, so that you let other people know what we're doing. We're just talking about traffic and police stuff. And let's see here. Does a private parking ticket that let's see here. This is from Patrick. Does private parking tickets that look like city tickets affect your license if not paid? So if it's a parking ticket on private property not issued by a licensed a person who's licensed on behalf of the city to write that ticket, it doesn't affect your license. It's private. They'd go after you for collections. If it's on and has logos from the City of Toronto and it's payable to the courts in the City of Toronto, that is going to be a Toronto ticket, and yes, it would prevent you from renewing your license. Sorry, renewing your license plate. A. Waters wants to know, can I drive in a parking lot with no license? In Ontario, the only laws that can be written on private property from the HTA are that of stunt driving. So, and that's new as of September 12th. So if you are driving, if you're driving a vehicle on private property without a license, there's no charge for it. That being said, you're not covered under any insurance, and you could still be responsible for any, or you would still be responsible for any collision that ensues. So no charge necessarily, but you would be responsible. There'd still be a report written, and that includes hitting a lamppost or a stop sign or a private property, a bush. What services does Victim Services provide? Q, you could probably even talk about this stuff, but Victim Services is there to support people who have been affected by trauma, whether they've witnessed something, been affected directly by something. It's people who come out in support and can connect you with counseling and support measures to help you through traumatic times. Would you say that covers it?
Essentially.
Do you want to add anything to it, because you know stuff in this area?
Well, no, I mean, you've pretty much got it covered. Like,
Okay.
they'll help you with providing support however you need it, and that they're capable of doing with resources and personnel that you can talk to.
Cool. Yeah, no, they're great people who are there to make you, to help you get through it, whatever you're going through. And there's lots of different reasons why we would activate or offer you victim services. 626 Rhonda says, what's the law on muffler deleted but keep stock? How do you muffler delete but keep stock? If you delete your muffler, you're no longer stock. You have a deleted muffler. Muffler's a requirement of your exhaust system, so you'd be an improper exhaust system and eligible for a ticket under that section. Additionally, you'd be a louder, and as a louder vehicle, you'd be eligible for a ticket of unnecessary noise. That's it. That's the deal. You can't keep a stock. Stock means not touching it. Doesn't mean cutting pieces out of it. Let's see here. Now, 383 people in the room. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Good morning. It's Thursday, and my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I go live on TikTok. I answer questions about traffic and police. It's kind of a thing, and we do that most weekdays. This is actually the last day of the week that I'm doing it, because I'm going to be off tomorrow, so you came in at a good time. If you've got questions about policing in Ontario, criminal code stuff about Canada, if you want to know what the weather's like, well, I have no idea because I have no windows, but traffic and police stuff, we talk about it. Let's see here. I don't know what loading's talking about. He says he got a ticket. I have a full G. Do I need to get my M1 or M2? Yeah. M1's for motorcycles. So your full G, it covers you on G-class vehicles. When you're applying to drive a different class vehicle absolutely you need to apply for an M1, and then when you're eligible, get your M2. I would also suggest taking a course. It'll expedite your whole procedure to get your license, and yeah, definitely a good way to go. I'm a rider, love riding. Training is the way to go.
If I come in from Montreal with my window tint, am I going to get a ticket for it?
Really depends. Generally speaking, if it's legal in your province, probably not. It's equipment. Now, in Ontario, you're not allowed to have a color coating or reflective coating that prevents seeing inside the vehicle. If you're visiting, you may or may not get the ticket. Generally speaking, things like exhaust or regulated equipment, like if you're legally allowed to lower your car or raise your car in another province and not here, that's not going to be a problem. If you've blacked out the windows you can't see and it's unsafe, you could still see yourself getting a ticket. It really depends on how low. But again, if it's legal in your province, you might be okay. But you also may find yourself having a ticket. It's a tough one. I generally say that if it's legal in your province, you're generally okay. But you could always find yourself getting charged. You just may have to identify in court the fact that you're legal in your province. It's complicated because not everybody knows how that works. How to call police if not an emergency. It depends on the local jurisdiction you're in. If it's in Toronto, 416-808-2222. That's the non-emergency line. That'll put you in touch with a person at our dispatch and get you to the right people. Likewise, if you're looking for a specific station, you could call the specific station directly, and it may be even faster than going through the non-emergency number. Depends on what you're looking for. You may also be able to get away with not calling anybody if you go onto our website and visit the Citizen Online Report entry. So if you go online to www.torontopolice.on.ca/core, CORE, that'll take you to the reporting tool, and you can report all sorts of minor things, even traffic complaints, without having to wait on hold. So it might be the best way to get through, get your message across without having to wait on hold. Okay. Hey, I just got my G. I got my G, and I followed your tip. Thank you. I'm so glad that worked out for you. We've got a lot of folks who have been having a lot of frustration. If you have your G1, G2, M1, M2, and you're trying to get your license booked, and you can't seem to get it on, you can't find a test date available, try other areas. Try throughout the day, night. Just constantly check. There are reset times when canceled tests get added or back into the pool. Additionally, when people, when new tests become available because they've hired another tester or for whatever reason it's now available, they're going to come on and it's first come first serve. So Naku, I'm not trying to read the small print here. I'll call you Nak because I don't want to mess up the rest of your name. I'm glad it worked out for you, and congratulations on your G. Will I get charged if I hit a squirrel? No, I think squirrels, although no bonus points will be awarded, are nothing that's going to get you charged. They tend to fly in and fly out. It's unfortunately part of the thing. Don't swerve to avoid a squirrel because you will get charged when you hit a car. Or a person, God forbid. Okay, there is a website on screen. That is the link to go to the core reporting tool that we just talked about. Thanks, Q, for throwing it up on screen. Let's see here. Ian Johnston wants to know, does it matter if they aren't listed as an occasional driver on your insurance? Thank you for asking that. The deal is, and I think you've just been covered that, but I'll talk about it to everybody who doesn't know what's going on in our chat room here. This is a question coming in from YouTube. So if you are a G1 driver, you don't need to be added to the insurance policy, but you should, I generally don't have to. Check with your own insurance company. The owner of the car should check with their insurance company to ensure coverage is extended. But G1 drivers generally don't need to be added. G2 drivers, if they live in the same household, do for most insurance companies. Again, it's not a legal thing. We're not going to give you a ticket for not being listed on the insurance company policy because it's not our business. That's a policy, and it's between you and the insurance company. That said, they can deny claims whenever they want to based on the things you're signing. You don't even realize that you're signing. So because how many people actually read the ins and outs of everything that they sign? You should, but most people don't. So if you live with a person who has their G2, they should be listed. If it's a G2, you have a G2 and you're borrowing your neighbor's car, you don't live with them, you don't need to be specifically listed on their policy. You're allowed to loan your vehicle to just anyone who's qualified to drive. Can police go 250 to 300 kilometers in a police pursuit? To that I'll say, I don't know if our cars go that fast. The deal is that why would we? if someone is willing to take their life at risk and risk everybody else, chasing them would likely put people at risk. And we have to always weigh public safety before engaging in any pursuit. That being said, we need to identify that vehicle and then just wait for them at their house. There's also a lot of other police cars available to us, and we would utilize other resources. We wouldn't just go for a run and chase you. But that's not to say that we don't get the people. We just don't engage in a chase at that speed. Right? I shouldn't say we don't. It depends. And we have the same question from somebody else. Okay, where do I go after police foundations? You can do it while you're going to police foundations. After police foundations, whatever works for you, apply for the police service. Ultimately that's the deal. And you should be checking our requirements and making sure you're making yourself the best candidate you can every single day. Make sure that you're volunteering throughout your education and throughout your life prior to becoming and continuing after you become a police officer. Make sure you take courses, develop yourself, keep being the best candidate you can be, because it's a competitive process. Absolutely. So good luck to you on your journey. It's a great career. Never give up. That's the biggest thing. It can be very difficult because of the competition. There's so many people who want the same job. And good luck to you. And if you have questions, come back and ask us. Let's see here. Okay, Tassos just coming back with a comment afterwards. G2 should for sure be listed on the policy. And Tassos, okay, good. There you go. Same. We said the same stuff. Let's see here. Legal tint for back windows. Can I have limo? So this is Austin who's asking the question. The deal is that the front windshield cannot be tinted. The windows directly left and right of the driver can be tinted to a maximum of 30% light blockage. That doesn't mean you'll never get a ticket. It means that's the legal limit for someone to import or license a vehicle. You want to get it safety, technically they have to test the windows, and if it's over 30% light blockage, you can't get a safety certificate. So things you need to know. Your mechanic knows this, so now you do too. The windows in the back, there's no regulation. You can have the rear windows as dark as you like. However, it's something to think about. If a police officer can't see inside your vehicle when you're tinted, whether it be because it's day or night, you could be getting a ticket for making it obscure the interior vehicle through of color coding or spray, I think is the wording, and if reflective isn't permitted either. But limo tint in the back, go nuts. Okay. Music Bear Cub is asking if I'm single. No, I'm not, but thank you for asking. My wife always takes a tally whenever I get asked if I'm single. It's been a while, so you're the first person asking at least a week. Okay, G2. Let's see here. So this is a good question. So G2 exam spots are being sold. Are they legal? There's no legal issue that I'm aware of. There may be a policy issue, and I hope there's a policy issue, and I hope they find a way to stop this, because folks are taking advantage of other folks who are trying to get their licenses, and it's despicable that someone would go and take spots when they don't need them just to make a buck off of another citizen. It's really, really sad. And if you find people, report them. See if you can get if the G2 or the drive test will do anything about it. I would, however, not buy from them, because by spending money and booking your tests through them, you're encouraging them to do it again. Additionally, I've heard all sorts of stories of people who have gotten the test, wanted to change it, and that person ghosts them after they take their money. So if you're doing something like that, you might get taken advantage of. License plate covers with tinted cover, are they legal? No, they're not. You're not allowed to cover your license plate, especially with a tinted cover, but even clear covers can violate the rules. I've seen very few of them that I think are legitimate or okay because of their construction, where they don't disrupt or obscure the plate in any way, but any cover could be a charge. Not that you will necessarily be charged, but you need to know that you could be charged. Do all departments use the same codes? No, all departments use very different codes. Do I know what an 1196 is? No idea. Let's see here. Every department uses their own. We pretty much just plain speak. Like we'll use some codes, but very few. Can I get in issues with a fake vaccine report? Yeah. I think you should know that you should, because you said the word fake when describing it, and it would be used to circumvent the law. So yeah, there's major charges that could be laid. I think the maximum fine is $6,000. How much does it cost to drive? $10,000? Really? Okay. Apparently it could be $10,000. Will there be more pop-up centers? I don't know. 4 went up, but I don't know if they have plans for any more. I guess they'll keep gauging it based on how many people are left in the system that need to get their licenses, what the demand is. Yeah. I hope they're already doing great work. For everyone who's bad-mouthing the MTO and saying that they're not doing enough, consider the fact that they don't have to do more. It's a worldwide pandemic. Everyone's being affected, and they're doing what they can do to get everybody through. It's frustrating. I get it, but they're doing a really good job. Okay. Loading says, I have 10% tint and windshield is 35% tint. So you have darker tint on your windshield than on your windows? So first of all, anything on your window, your front windshield is illegal. Nothing can be there. Now I'm assuming you mean 10% light through as opposed to 10% light blockage. 10% light blockage is quite light. So you're inverted. The maximum that you're allowed on the windows left and right of the driver is 30% light blockage, which means 70% light has to get through. So from the sounds of what the numbers you've given me, I would say you're totally illegal in your car in Ontario. Let's see here. Oh, this is the latest news. So Q just sent me a message saying there are 4 more temporary road test centers coming. They're planning on opening them in the coming weeks to serve Mississauga, southwestern Ontario, Niagara region, and Ottawa area. So that's good. Let's see here. And just so you know, Tassos he's one of our moderators. He's inside the YouTube chat, which is really the Restream chat, so across all platforms other than TikTok. And he's answering some questions about insurance because he's an insurance underwriter and has, profession stuff and knowledge and things. Is he coming out? He's coming on Tuesday? Cool. Producer says he's going to be available for Tuesday's live stream, which will be at 10:15 to do, or at 10:15 or the 9 o'clock. Oh, he's going to be here. Oh, he's going to be, okay, he's going to be sitting in, is he taking your space or is he sitting next to you? Q's being very, very nonverbal right now. He's replacing you. Okay. So on Tuesday, instead of Q, we will see Tassos, which is awesome.
He's got it.
He's a rock. Okay, Leo Wife says, good morning, Sean, QQ, and the other wonderful moderators. Leo Wife might be my wife. Yes, it is my wife. Good morning, baby. Okay. Let's see here. What is a window 10% there? What is a window 10% there? What do you mean? Canadian Cowboy wants to know, what is a window 10% there? So we talk about light blockage, or at least I talk about light blockage because that's how the regulations are written. So you're allowed to have a maximum of 30% light blockage. So 10%, when I refer to, is how much light is being prevented from coming through, meaning 10% would be a 90% luminescence or 90% light traveling. And yeah, Alberta is totally different. Everything's different in Alberta. They have cowboys in Alberta. Let's see here. How much does it cost to get your G1? Good question. I don't know, but I'm sure somebody will tell me in a second. Driving 60 days as an immigrant before a licensing exchange? Is that a question or a statement? Is that an answer to somebody else's question? I'm not sure what you're asking me. Okay. G1 test will cost you $158.25. The fee for your test will cover the written exam as well as your drive test to get a G2 license, though you have to pay an extra $15.75 if you need to retake the knowledge test. There you go. Thank you, Q. Q Googled that information, I'm sure, or did you have a sticky note for that? It was totally Google, right off their website? Totally Google.
Right off the website.
There's a lot of information that we go to that is actually right off the website. Okay. We are not always the knowers of all things, and Google helps. So, just saying. How do I buy stuff from the TPS Gift Shop? It's at headquarters at 40 College Street. I believe they are open to the public now. So if you are in the Toronto area and you want some cool Toronto Police swag, that would be the place to go. It supports our museum, so it's a good cause. It's a charity. The museum is also a great thing if they've got that open. If you want to wander around and check out some cool TPS history, that would be the place to go. Now, when it comes to stuff, if you're not in the Toronto area and want TPS swag, I believe they've got a website and they're going to start shipping things outside of the front doors of their building. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Loading wants to know if I'm going to give you a ticket, or him a ticket, them a ticket. I don't know. Are you in front of me? I'm not. I'm not doing any tickets right now. If we can arrange for me to give you a ticket, I can certainly write you one. I'm not. I'm not doing enforcement at the moment. I'm an office guy, doing office stuff and education on the platform. Well, on all platforms apparently.
Smack, smack, smackety, smack, smack.
Okay.
Okay. Do accidents in Toronto need
That's
to
a
be
reference to water,
reported?
by the way. Sorry. Go ahead.
Do accidents in Toronto need to be reported on private property or plazas?
Yes, yes, they do. Collisions are collisions anywhere they occur, and they have to be reported if they hit the threshold. So first of all, if anybody's injured, but also they have to be reported in the event that the total collision or the total damage is $2,000 or more. Now, that could be a paint scratch for some cars. So generally speaking, reporting it is required. Now, some people say, well, I don't want to go through insurance. You still need to report it, even if you don't claim it under your insurance. Reporting it is a requirement, again, if it hits the threshold. If you bump into each other, there's no damage and there's no injury, that's not a collision under the law. It doesn't require reporting. Okay. Let's see here. Can I pay my speeding ticket payment online? There's some options on the back, and then if you go to the Toronto website, they may give you options for payment online. That was something that I'd seen. There was a fee involved. I really don't know the ins and outs of how to pay it online, but I understand that there are options. I've just never had to do it.
Here's a question we never encountered.
What's
Do we
that?
receive demerit points on fail to yield at a roundabout without collision?
Fail to yield is on its own. So let's see. I don't think it matters whether it's a roundabout or not. Failing to yield, if there's a okay, I got to look it up. Fail to yield. Let's see here. See this uncontrolled intersection. Well, let's just look at any one of them. So it has 3 demerit points at an uncontrolled intersection. So if you fail to yield in a yield sign, 3 demerit points, but I don't see something that says specifically roundabout. But if there's, I got to look it up. I don't see something that says roundabout specifically, so I'd have to look it up. I must say that I've never actually had any enforcement activity in relation to a roundabout, so I have no firsthand experience. But now I have on a mission to find the answer to your question. So it may not be today that I get back to you, but do me a favor, send me a DM so I can get back to you, because I will forget otherwise.
Can't send DMs unless you're friends on TikTok anymore.
What do you mean? They changed that?
I sent you the screenshot.
Oh my goodness. I was getting questions from everybody. I got message requests, and okay. Apparently don't do that. Put it in the Q&A instead, and I'll make a video response. Okay. Speeding ticket, $359. If I pay points, will points decrease? What on earth did you do to get a $359 ticket? Let's see here. 359. That's a very specific number.
Sergeant Stein says roundabouts are controlled intersection.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Sergeant Stein. So then we can go back. So it's 4 demerit points for 49 over, which would get you a 359. And will you get a lower points? No. It's issued. The points are based on the offense. It's not negotiable afterwards. So backing to your question about the roundabout, it's a controlled intersection, and then you get 3 demerit points. So there you go. Okay. I just got my M1. Can I buy a motorcycle? I don't know. Are you allowed to buy a motorcycle? Yes, you are allowed to buy a motorcycle. You don't even have to be a licensed person to buy the device. You just can't ride or operate the device unless you have the license. Now you have a license, and as long as you follow the rules and conditions of an M1, you can operate that motorcycle once it's insured and plated, etc. Am I your favorite person on this app? This is loading once again, asking, and with all these questions, you're falling from grace, my friend. it's no, I'm kidding. I must say though, there's a number of people who I interact with here, and are you my favorite? Well, we're working on it. Okay, we got to thank you. Oh, did I just hit the slide? Let me see here. Is wide tires illegals? I'm making up words here. Legal if I have fender flares. as long as you are not, I don't think there's a maximum width, that there's a safety requirement. I think that the issue is if it protrudes from your body, but you have flares and mud flaps to cover them, they remain legal. If they're exposed tires, then they're illegal and improper. From a Sudbury area medic to an officer, thank you. Fistrock, you're most welcome, and be safe out there. Let's see here. When do speed cameras clock you in TO? When you speed. That is exactly when they do. If you speed cameras clock you. Did you mean like a specific number over the speed limit? No, don't speed. You don't need to know the specific. Actually, I don't even know the specific. I don't know the specific number, so I can't actually. What do they call that when you can have plausible deniability? I don't know. So because I don't know, I can't tell you. Why modified exhaust illegal? Stew. So the deal is that modified exhausts, when are illegal, if they produce more than 74 decibels of sound, are illegal because they produce more than 74 decibels of sound. They're annoying. They're horrible. They disrupt communities. People can't hear themselves think. You think it sounds cool, but generally you're the only one. Or people who you hang out with agree with you, but that's why you hang out together, because you together think it sounds cool. Everybody else that you drive by is annoyed that you're there. And they pay taxes in the area. They want to have quiet enjoyment of their property, and so on and so forth. Listen, I appreciate a cool sounding car for 5 seconds. I like motorcycles that sound cool for 5 seconds. Have you ever gone for a motorcycle ride behind a Harley with custom pipes? I won't do it. I can't do it. They're horrible. Horrible. No earplugs in the world will save you from that. Of course, the guy on the bike says, oh, it sounds great. Why? Because they're projecting all the sound out the back. They're not annoyed by their own motorcycle. They think it's cool. Okay. Is it legal for squatted trucks in your area? Squatted trucks where the back is squatted, the front is high. I'm looking into this because I've been having this question. I've had this question in the past, and I think it's an issue because it changes the angle in which the bumper attracts the road. And I think if you were to hit a pedestrian, you would do tremendous damage because you would catch them and throw them underneath the vehicle. That's my take on it. I don't have a definitive answer. I'm looking into it. But I think squatted trucks where the front is higher, you also have a visibility issue. You're looking out over the hood now because the back of the vehicle is low. I think they're unsafe. So I'm going to say they're unsafe until I can confirm otherwise. Squat not legal. Okay, Q just says it right there. Squat's not legal. Squat. I don't get squat. Why would you want the front of you? Why do you want to stare at the sky instead of the road ahead of you? Okay. Lowering, however, can be legal, but squatting where the back is low and the front is high is not legal. Why has Service Ontario suspended my license? Oh, I don't know. I don't know you at all, actually. What is your name? Yeah, I don't know your name. Nope. I don't know you. I don't know why you're suspended, but I imagine if you contact them, they will tell you. Okay. Are aftermarket exhausts legal? Depends. If they conform to the regulations, then they would be legal. You can have an aftermarket exhaust in Ontario. It just has to be one that is legal. And then regardless of aftermarket or not aftermarket, if you are behaving in such a way that you create unnecessary noise, you're still eligible for making that noise, whether it comes from your exhaust, your stereo, your horn, anything. Any tips for taking the G1 test? Read the book. Read the book and then read the book again. Let's see here. Okay. Can I... What is this? Can I load in my truck, block my center brake light? Yes, you can. So the third brake light, the extra brake light in the rear window of the vehicle, or in the, in this case, the cab of your pickup truck, is it required by law? No. It's required by manufacturers to add it. It's not required for you to keep it. So if your tint covers your third brake light, if your load covers your third brake light, you're not in contravention of the law. Thanks for asking. That's a really good question. And so many people don't ask, so thank you for asking. I don't know this one. Are you resetting the room? Is that the reset the room? Okay, this is the reset the room one. I'm getting new hand signals. So occasionally I get sign language. Sometimes I get right on wipe-off boards. Today it's we're waving fingers in the air. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live on TikTok most weekdays. And this particular week, it was Monday to Thursday, except for yesterday, because we had stuff to do. And next week will be Tuesday to Friday. So it's a little bit of a change because we're on we're testing out a new schedule in the office. So, yeah. But I answer traffic and police questions, and we're happy to have you here. We do this because we want to help you. So, Can I buy 10 acres of land and practice drifting? It's a great question. So new laws came in September 12th that say that you can't do stunt driving on private property or public property or any property unless you have a track that's constructed for that purpose. There's an exemption for tracks. Now, what qualifies your track as a track and not just a parking lot? I don't know. I don't know because it's pretty vague, and it might have to be something that it has to be regulated, specifically built for that purpose. You might need signage. I don't know yet, but we're working on finding out, and you should find out from your local authorities from where you're planning on building your 10-acre track what would be required in order to properly insure and also ensure safety. Because I imagine, racetracks have paramedics and fire crews on scene. That might be a requirement of creating a track, and if it is, you'll need to adhere to that rather than just calling it your track. Go-kart tracks and racetracks, and then there's a number of other specifications. Track instructors. Oh, interesting. Okay. Could be track instructors as well being required. The Safe Driver says, who wants to be a driving instructor? Are you hiring? Scott, is that happening? Scott, by the way, is the Safe Driver. He is a podcaster. He is now a TikToker. He is a blogger. What else are you? You are a driving instructor. You are a driving instructor of driving instructors. So he happens to work for Young Drivers of Education. Young Drivers of Canada as the. I'm going to mess up your position, but you're the lead instructor, the director of education. I can't remember what you said you were, because I used to have it tattooed here, but it wore off. And yeah, so maybe there's an opportunity there. Let us know. We'll pass the message. Is it illegal to cut the roof off a car? It has to be safe. I can't say that all cars have the structural ability to support being a convertible. So convertibles generally have a reinforced front windshield roll situation. So if you roll the car, I believe it's supposed to support it. It may not be safe. So I think you need to consult a mechanic, engineer, custom car shop, something who knows specifics about that. I'm going to try and look into it too, but I don't know when I'll see you next. Okay. Apparently there's some TikTok timing issues, some lag kicking in, and now my unstable connection alert is coming in. So we are having some problems with our connection, and I don't want to mess around with it because we are close to the end. We've got about 12 minutes left. So hopefully we stick it out for a little bit, but it might be we don't know what it is. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep on trucking. If this does fall out and we lose our connection, you can always jump into our live stream on any one of the platforms we're currently transmitting to, and that includes Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. What else? And LinkedIn as well. Are loud brakes illegal? Well, loud brakes usually suggest that you don't have brakes. That squealing is telling you to get new pads or rotors. And yeah, they may not stop you, but are they illegal? Yeah, they could be unnecessary noise. They could still be causing unnecessary noise if we went that way. But I'd be more concerned about the safety of not stopping. Do you have to pay a ticket on private property? If it's not issued by the City of Toronto or the local government agency, so generally speaking, it's issued on behalf of the City of Toronto by the Toronto Police or a municipal officer who's been licensed and supervised by. So those will affect your license. The other ones will have you having different repercussions. So if it's York University, for example, if university security writes you a ticket, it's a York University ticket. Good luck graduating if you owe them money, because that's how they make sure you pay. Now, if it's a mall and it's their private security, if you don't work at the mall, they may have no way of going after you unless they took you to court or to register a claim against you and put you to collections. Canadian 8 wants to know if you can pay a ticket in person with pennies. I don't think it's legal tender up to a certain amount, I think. I don't think you can accept pennies anymore.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Can I legally drive if I can't read?
If you can pass the test, you mean not read because you can't see, or not read because you're incapable of reading in the language, or are you there's so many potentials? It's a very open-ended question. If you can't see, you probably don't meet the vision requirements. If you can't read because you don't understand the language, I don't think that's held against you, as long as you can pass all the testing to get licensed. Just got on with the OPP first shift tomorrow. Congratulations, Mo. Really, welcome to the family. regardless of what you do for the police. I'm assuming you're going to be a PC, but if you're going to be anything else within the organization, great organization, and like I said, welcome to the family. What's the maximum height I can lift my truck? 3 inches is the legal maximum if you're getting safety. Beyond that, you're looking at difficulties because you could be illegal for the road, I should say. You won't be able to transfer ownership because you can't get safety after 3 inches. Let's see here. Are Jake brakes legal in the city? Do you mean engine braking for semis? Depends where it's signed. There's usually signs that say you can't do it. And Mo says he is a PC, and thank you. Well, you're very welcome. And when you where are you going to be? We call it deployed. Where are you going to be attached to in the OPP? Are you in Toronto area or way out somewhere else? Okay. Let me see here. Okay, can I pass? What is this? Can I pass traffic on the bike lane to turn right? No. Yeah, you can't drive in a bike lane. Bike lane is a no-go situation. It's a bike lane. Unless you're on a bicycle, don't use a bike lane. Can't pass in it. Looking into being a trainer. Do you mean for being a driving instructor? Because you should follow our friend there, the Safe Driver, and talk to him. Let's see here. Boss Nation. Boss Nation. Oh, I would never have figured that out. Okay, thank you. Boss Nation asks, if you're on a call and you see someone speeding, what do you do as an officer? So if I'm on a call, well, I'm a traffic officer. If I'm on a call, I'm usually stopping someone for speeding. So I'm not operating my laser while I'm issuing a ticket. So chances are I'm not going to see. If I see someone who was doing something minor, they might get a free pass while I go after the person who's being egregious and speeding in such a way that it was drawing my attention. Really depends. It could be one or the other. Generally speaking, you're dealing with one person, you deal with it from start to finish. If I was on a call for a collision, I'm not leaving that collision. The priority is my collision. If I was dealing with something else, probably it would be my priority as well. Why are police cruisers always so clean? Because we have pride in our service. We pride in ourselves. We wash our clothes. We wash our face. We wash our cars. It's just one of those things. If we're showing up dirty, we're going to get called out for it. It's not good to get called out for things. Let's see here. What division do I work at? I am. Oh, actually, I haven't been talking about that. It says it on the screen on YouTube, but it doesn't say it anywhere else. Wait, can I move out of there? Traffic. There we go. Traffic Services. I work for Toronto Police Traffic Services. We're a citywide unit responding to traffic and calls throughout the city. So we investigate collisions, major collisions. We investigate, we enforce the Highway Traffic Act. I'm trying to think of all the things we have in here. We have a motor squad. We do all sorts of things. We have a reconstruction unit. What are license plate tints? Is that the question? Tinted visors? Sorry.
No, they asked, are license plate tint legal? But I've never heard of a license plate tint.
I'm assuming they mean a cover. So covers are not legal. You can't put covers on. Even if they're clear, technically they're not legal. You're not allowed to obstruct in any way, shape, or form. But that's the deal. You can't put, especially tinted covers, you can't prevent the easy, legible reading of a license plate. Must be seen and it must be mounted properly. I love this. Okay, so how many kilometers over does the speed camera go off? Plausible deniability. They don't tell me, so I can't tell you. I honestly don't know. There's no justification for speeding, so don't speed, and you won't have to ever find out. It's more. It's probably more than one. It's probably less than 5. I don't know. Who's at fault in a snowy road pileup? Probably everybody. There's no one person who will probably be let off the hook. Everyone who, in some way, shape, or form, is responsible to a degree. Now, chances are, if you get rear-ended, the person who hit you is going to be the first most responsible person. But if you're driving, if the first person ended up hitting a tree and then somebody hit them and so on, there's always somebody responsible. The snow never gets a ticket. Ashton Stein wants to know, where is Vision Zero today? It's a really good question. To one of I haven't looked up yet because I look up before the 10 o'clock show. See, now you're making me look bad, Ashton. Actually, I'm admitting to the fact that I didn't look. Okay, hang on a second. Let's go here and do the search. Because if you go to Traffic Services, which I'm about to do on Twitter, you will see the post. This is really bad because it's not cooperating. Oh, come on. Why is it not cooperating?
Sorry, 52 and 42.
There you go.
23 and 42.
Q found it faster than me. I was having difficulty because this is the phone I usually look at on. That's my excuse. Okay. Let's see here. Pokebud says, have you ever ticketed a fellow officer? I've never had to. I've never pulled one over who was violating the law. So I've never had cause to pull over a police officer. Let's see here. Is there any charge for avoidable collision? Well, if you avoid a collision, you don't generally get a ticket for the collision. What do you mean? Okay. Plates that have peeled. Okay. Tax victim says plates that have peeled are unreadable. They're illegible, but they're illegal as well. You need to change those. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Tinted underglow. Our underglow, we haven't answered that today. Are underglow lights legal? The deal with underglow lights is that there's no law specifically stating that they're illegal. However, their use may contravene other laws. For instance, you cannot project light to the front of your vehicle other than the color of yellow and white. And that's because some 1980s cars have yellow fog lights. Very uncommon, I think, to have yellow fog lights these days. However, they do exist and they are legal. If you had underglow, I did see that, by the way, Q. If you had any other color visible to the front, you could be violating that and have improper headlight charge. So there's other things. You can't have certain colors that are totally restricted: blue, green, red, and it just causes all sorts of issues. So you could find yourself in a problem. I say it's great to have them. Use them on private property. Can you drive with sandals? I love this question. I haven't had it in a while. Yes, you can. In Ontario, you can. Okay. Hey, 192 people in the room. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're not gone yet, but I just wanted to acknowledge you for hanging out on TikTok. And if you don't already follow us, please follow us. It allows us to notify you when we go live. It also lets you know when we drop new content. So it is a cool thing. And we'd love to have you in the family. So if you hit that follow button, you'll get notified when we go live. And we'll stay in touch. Sorry, like a not at fault but collision. So not at fault is when it comes to how collision, how companies pay for things. Not at fault isn't really a situation. If the police investigate it, they may choose to lay charges. There's no truly no at fault. Somebody's always at fault. That's why we call them collisions, not accidents. They're all avoidable. And if when police investigate, we generally lay charges to the person that we determine is at fault. Okay. Let's see here. If you capture, okay. Oh, okay. If someone captures a speeder on dash cam, can I what? It got cut off. But I'm assuming you're asking if you can send us the video and we lay a charge. It's not just a car that has to be caught on camera for or to be identified for a police officer to lay the charge. We have to know who the driver is, not just the owner. Okay. So in that situation, unless we were able to identify the driver with your video, which is unlikely, we can't really lay the charge. That doesn't mean we wouldn't investigate. You can go onto our website and report someone, and we can generally send a letter to the owner of the vehicle saying, hey, at this date and time, at this location, your vehicle was observed and videotaped traveling well above the speed limit. And what tends to happen is mom or dad of the person who owns the car gets a letter in the mail saying the person who was driving that car that may not have owned it was being irresponsible. Can you do a muffler delete on your car? We covered this earlier, but we'll cover it again. No, you need a muffler. It's required equipment to have a proper muffler. If you don't have it, not only will you be, is that so? Okay. Not only would that be a violation for the rules of having a muffler, the charge would be improper muffler, or is it improper exhaust? I can't remember now. But it's improper one way or another. Additionally, you would be getting a ticket for the unnecessary noise that your mufflerless car would be creating. All right. Making up new words here. Okay. Uh, so modifications to your muffler, are they legal? No. Well, depends what you say modifications. So the question of modifications is you have to have a muffler, you have to have a resonator, you have to have a catalytic converter. Can you put a freer breathing, larger diameter pipe? Yeah, sure, you could have. The thing is, for it to be safety, mechanic says 74 decibels is the requirement. Ashton's taken off by TikTok. Thanks, Ashton. Appreciate you hanging out with us. He's one of our moderators. Helps out a lot. And with that, we got to say goodbye. It's been a blast. We're gone until Tuesday. Should we talk about tint brows? Is that what you want to do?
I didn't get to do my brow one.
Okay. Just because Q needs to be able to talk about brows, we're going to talk about tint. We talked about tint earlier, but we never got into brows. So just for Q. And for those watching on TikTok, sorry, not watching on TikTok, but watching on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, all those platforms, tint. Nothing can be on the windshield if you have a vehicle that is 2017 or newer. However, if you are 2016 or older, your vehicle is permitted to have a brow. That brow can be 3 inches from the top of the windshield down or until the point where it reaches the PS1 line. Either one, whichever happens first, that's it. And if you weren't watching on that platform, on the other platforms mentioned moments ago, you didn't see Q describing or miming, what is that? Acting, representing, demonstrating.
Demonstrating our acceptance for the brow.
She does a brow thing, and you're missing out if you're not watching it. So the deal is that, and then just to finish off, since we started it, we'll end it. If you are going to tint the windows in your vehicle, the driver and passenger side windows directly to the left and right of the driver, those are the windows that are most heavily regulated aside from the front window, and those can have a maximum of 30% light blockage. 70% of the light has to get through. And what does that really mean? Well, besides those windows we've talked about, the 3 main windows in the front, the back ones you can really go dark if you want to. At the end of the day, the Toronto Police and Police Services in Ontario lay charges for obstructing or obscuring the interior of a vehicle with colored coating, tint, or reflective coatings. Excuse me. If you prevent us from being able to see in, that's where we lay the charge. So if it's at night and you have a tint on your windows and we can't see the driver, we can't identify the driver, it just is completely blacked out, that's illegal, even if your tint meets the regulation for licensing. So it's a confusion thing. Don't tint your windows. Tint them a little bit. Don't tint them a lot because it's not safe. You can't see out and people can't see in. That's a bad thing. So that's it. Oh, what is a brow? Brow is that top 3 inches of that you saw in 70s cars. I say 70s cars because people don't tint the top anymore. It looks ridiculous. Oh, did I say that out loud? I think I saw a car a couple days ago. There's no way it was a 2017, there's no way it was a 2016. It had gold rims too. But it must have had like an 8-inch brow on it. So the top of the windshield had this long tint strip. Looked ridiculous. But there we go. And Officer Kane jumping into the chat. Hey, how's it going, Officer Kane? Nice to see you. Been a while. To all the moderators, thank you so much. Really appreciate you spending all the time helping keeping it classy here. Hearts from Q to everybody out there. And just looking into the YouTubes, Robin Lobb says, these are all great Q&As. Thanks for this. You know what? Thank you. Thank you very much. Robin is a supporter of ours on Facebook. He is involved in the downtown core and wants to keep the roads safe for all the folks that live and work in that area. So appreciate you jumping in and saying hello. And that's it. That's a day. So going to sign out of TikTok. If you're not already following us, please do. And we will be back on Tuesday. Until then, have for me, it's a long weekend of days off where I get to study and spend time. But for you, do what you do and do it safely. If you're going to be driving, please drive sober. No drinking, no driving. And that's it. We're out. See you at 10:15 on the other channel.
Bye, TikTok.
Okay, doing the countdown. I think we're good. We good? I think we're good. Okay, we are no longer on TikTok. Folks, those of you who are here on the special screens, very much appreciate you hanging out with us. We are going to sign off for a few minutes. We will be back at 10:15 or thereabouts when we which is only 11 or 12 minutes from now. We'll be back with our good friend Scott Marshall the safe driver. So tune in then, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Ciao for now.